ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get straight to this because my topic tonight leads on from the comments that Will just made. Let me see if I've got this right. The UK gave citizenship to a man whose name literally translates to jihadi from Syria. After receiving that gift from the British people, he was arrested for rape. A British judge thought it was appropriate to give him bail and let him back out on the streets. While on bail, he slaughtered Jews at a synagogue on the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur. I'm done. I'm done with the euphemisms. I'm done with the crocodile tears. I'm done with the calls for unity. I'm done being told not to hate. And I'm done skirting around uncomfortable truths. So let's list them. Uncomfortable truth 1. Multiculturalism hasn't merely failed. It has embedded sectarian violence on the streets of the UK and cost countless lives, most recently the lives of Adrian Daubly and Melvin Kravitz in Manchester. Again, strength and love to their families. Uncomfortable truth 2, diversity is not our strength. It has never been our strength, and in fact it has now become our greatest weakness economically and culturally. And I'm yet to hear any coherent argument for its value that doesn't default to, well, we get good restaurants out of it, which isn't good enough justification for complete cultural and social fracture. And besides, we've got the recipes now anyway. Uncomfortable truth 3, Islamism is a cancer on the UK, and more citizens will die as a result of appeasing it. We need to say these uncomfortable truths loudly and whilst we still can. Islamophobia laws are coming, ladies and gentlemen, as the great Christopher Hitchens predicted 16 years ago.
It is very urgent business, ladies and gentlemen, I beseech you. Resist it while you still can, and before the right to complain is taken away from you, which will be the next thing. You will be told you can't complain because you're Islamophobic. The term is already being introduced into the culture as if it was an accusation of race hatred, for example, or bigotry, whereas it's only the objection to the preachings of a very extreme and absolutist religion. Watch out for these symptoms. They are symptoms of surrender.
I've watched that clip so many times and it gets more poignant with every watch. Alex, I'll start with you. I just listed those uncomfortable truths. Do you actually think that this time politicians will actually listen as well?
No, it's particularly this government. It has had no acknowledgement of the threat of Islamism, has been completely ignored. It's been crickets, actually, from Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister. No, it has been. Don't lie. I haven't seen a single statement, not a single statement from the Prime Minister, not a single statement from David Lammy, Sadiq Khan, all these people who, when the Unite the Kingdom rally was happening and 25 arrests took place, over hundreds of thousands of people that were there, were putting out statements on X, going on podiums talking about the far right. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They are bigots and they should be called out for it.
Kai, I think what Alex is getting to here is the question of degree, in that after the riots in Southport, they were so quick to attack the far right and they took action so quickly. I haven't heard anywhere near the same level of passion when it comes to addressing the cancer of Islamism. Surely that is fair.
I'm not sure. I mean, look, I haven't been at the speeches that David Lammy and other members of the front bench have been making to the Jewish community. That's been their priority, obviously.
Well, there's Google. You should try it. It's this thing where you put in search and you find what you can...
And if you did watch it, you would have seen a Jewish audience that was furious with David Lammy and this government. But I've never seen anything quite like the response of that audience in terms of the heckling that he received, and it was justified.
That's the passion, which is your question. Look, I agree that lots of this government lack the conviction and the clear statement of intent that, for instance, some politicians on the hard left do. I think progressives are really struggling to meet this moment when it seems like the political grounds are shifting. But they need to come out and give a muscular, robust defence of multiculturalism, of diversity, because this is how we slide into increasing division and authoritarianism. Is when people use violence as a tool and as a Trojan horse to try and unwind decades of improvement in a country's laws, in improvement of human rights, for instance, use violence as a way to further ideological ends. And I think it's wrong.
Renee. Do you know what? When this happened, obviously I was, as everybody else, absolutely saddened, horrified, scared, but not surprised. Yeah. You know what I did this week? I watched on Netflix again, London Under Attack. in the hunt for the 4 men that tried to blow up the tube but actually escaped. How many years ago now? 16 years ago? And those were ordinary men living amongst us who managed to find each other and plot to kill hundreds of people and children and blow families apart. They're already here, Kai. They're almost sleeper cells now, waiting to be initiated. And multiculturalism has allowed this to happen because everybody is scared of them. And do you know what? I'm scared of them too, and we should be scared.
And I agree, and I'm terrified for the Jewish community, I'm terrified for people all across the country, but what this fails, your analysis is partially correct, but what is absent from it is if there are people in this country who you're saying who don't believe in our values and who want to commit acts of violence against the country, so what's your answer? Because when I was on this channel yesterday, the best answer I heard was essentially by racial lines or by sort of cultural lines to kick out everybody who is from a country that is different from ours. And that seems to me a gross overreaction and frankly is racist.
I agree.
As Keir Starmer pointed out.
It's true. What is to be done about it? What, you're going to start rounding up people, putting them in internment camps because they're Muslim? I think, I just don't know where you go with this. And the other thing I always hear is there's something like collective responsibility. So if the perpetrator, this vile, absolute idiot, everyone else that's Muslim is somehow culpable because of what he did. How is that any different from his
No one is
views?
saying
Wait.
No one is saying that.
That is the logical conclusion of many of the
from
arguments.
people like this idiot, and I'm going to call him an idiot because I think it's disgusting what he did. How is it any different from him thinking ordinary Jews in this country are somehow responsible for the deaths in Palestine? Isn't it the same collectivist thinking that led him to commit that to what Will's just said there? Somehow everyone, and multiculturalism, everyone's is to be blamed for this idiot.
That's such a simplistic
But it is though. Tell me how it's different. There are Muslims who are condemning what happened, and they will do.
And of course,
but all of them are guilty.
There's plenty of moderate Muslims in this country. The vast majority of them would never endorse what's happened. However, what I will say is that there should be no such thing as multiculturalism. It should be one culture in this country, British culture. Multiculturalism breeds in division. It's by its definition divisive. It means we must all try to integrate with different cultural groups, when actually there should be one culture. And you spoke about this a lot, Trey. You've made lots of points about culturalism, culture in this country, and how we all need to unify under a banner. Then in that case, you should also see that there is failings in multiculturalism because we allow groups to breed their own identity.
I tell you why I don't, right? Because there's a lot of richness in having a lot of diversity.
Here we go. The restaurant argument.
There is a lot of
but that has
richness. Not only that. British culture. Wait, 1 second.
I'm hosting. I'm hosting.
Okay, go.
When you say richness, I'm sick of these sorts of terms that don't mean anything. I like saying richness, I like saying diversity if it's a good in and of itself. Okay. What does that mean? What's the tangible benefit?
So you're not looking at all of the actual good that comes out of multiculturalism, all of the contribution. You're looking at how many of the how many Muslim doctors there are, how many people from other cultures who bring the best of their cultures.
Let's say you're right. Let's say you're absolutely right. I'm not going to argue with that. It only takes one of those people to blow me up or my child, and I don't care about the doctors and the richness and everything else that you're talking about. I don't care. These people are dangerous. They are killing
But who
us.
are these people that you're referring to?
It's
Just Muslims?
people.
I mean, generally? Because someone in a
people.
Muslim nation would probably say the same about a Christian leader who's also dropped bombs in their nations. Anyone can say that.
Well, no,
as opposed to looking for... I'll tell you this then. That means you go back to Kai's argument. What do we do? Round people up, put them in internment camps because of their faith? Where do we go?
I want to throw
Stop people going to live in Dubai? I mean, where do we stop this?
What do we do?
What do we do?
Well, listen, we don't want to chuck people, round people. This is not Nazism. We're not fascists, right? We're conservative-minded people who want to protect the cultural norms of this country. We didn't have radical Islamism in this country before we invited some groups from countries that clearly do not hold good beliefs. I believe this. I very strongly believe this. When you look at the amount of people from Syria who have committed terrorist attacks across Europe, it is disproportionately high. Now, we should have immigration to this country, but we have to have immigration from like-minded cultures that will integrate into our society. And I don't agree that multiculturalism positive for the country. I think what you're conflating skills, such as being a doctor and a nurse, which are welcome here, with people who bring their culture and actually don't want to integrate into Britain. So actually what we need to be is much tougher about who we invite into the country, much tougher about how they integrate. And even Shabana Mahmood, the Labour Home Secretary, saying we need to get tougher on this. Even Labour are saying that. They know it's gone too far, and we do need to be a little bit bit more tough.
And that is overwhelmingly the response that we're hearing from your say, as will Terry Waterhouse, integrate or leave. Simon Goodman, nothing good comes from multiculturalism, integrate. This is a response which has obviously hit a nerve across our audience base, and I think they've had enough.